The America First Warehouse, where our hearts will always be.
All right. Welcome back to the most patriotic venue in all the land. Joining us today is a returning guest, John Goodman, an election integrity advocate who has spent years researching election systems, voting procedures, and public confidence in our elections. He's here to discuss concerns that many Americans have raised about election transparency, chain of custody, ballot security, auditing, and what he believes can be done to strengthen trust in the electoral process. Whether you agree with his conclusions or not, today's conversation is about to ask questions, examine evidence, and encourage informed discussion. Please welcome back to the James Justice Show, John Goodman. Welcome back, John.
James, it's great to be back on your show. I'm happy to see you. We had a lot of fun the first time.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So I'm going to give you the floor. Where do you want to go with this first? And what do you think is most important with this? Midterms coming up. This is a big battle we got going on.
Absolutely. It's going to be coming to a head even more so over the next couple of weeks. So, just a quick background. My name is John Goodman. As you said, I'm an election integrity expert out of South Florida, and I occasionally have an opportunity to work with the Trump team on certain election related issues, such as the one that's currently going on now. Um, so, the story is I'm disappointed, like most Republicans, that a Republican majority Senate can't pass a basic election bill such as the SAVE Act. I get that. And that is just like mind blowing. But the bottom line is, it's even more frustrating when I'm going to break some news to start the show. President Trump last summer had a 17-page executive order ready to go. It had everything that was in the SAVE Act and was even stronger.
Wow.
And he was talked out of releasing it because he was told that there was a bill getting ready to come down the pike called the SAVE Act. And it would pass and it would be the solution. And President Trump would not have to deal with judges and courts and challenges. And President Trump listened to that advice and did not release the 17-page executive order. And I've had a copy of it for a year. And of course, I'm not going to release it because President Trump never released it.
Yeah.
So this is partly a bad decision, bad advice given to President Trump a year ago. And it's true that executive order would have been challenged, but it would have had a year to wind through the judicial system, where any executive order now, including the SAVE Act, would be immediately challenged by Mark Elias and the Democrat attorneys and would never wind through the judicial system and the appeals and challenges in time for the midterms anyway.
Yeah, they just clog it up and not let anything happen.
Yeah, exactly. On election day, would be sitting in the drawer of some Obama or Biden appeals judge in the Ninth Circuit.
Yeah.
So when I see so many Republicans still saying that the SAVE Act is the solution when the election is 96 days away, I have a mixture of emotions. I don't want to get hardcore mean at my fellow Republicans, but it's also very mind boggling to me. And this includes elected officials like Anna Polina Luna and Mike Lee. And really, and I'll get to the solution and we'll back it up.
Yeah.
But really, the Republicans did not plan this correctly from the start. Number one, the filibuster should have been broken before the SAVE Act ever went public. That way, a simple majority could have passed it. There's only 53 Republican senators. So they knew going in that even if every single Republican voted for the SAVE Act, they would still need 7 Democrats to vote to make the 60.
Yeah.
And Democrats aren't voting for a bill, James, that eliminates their own cheating. So,
Nope.
so so John Thune should have played hardball. Took a page. Actually, I don't like Nancy Pelosi, but he should have took a hardball page out of Nancy Pelosi's book and said, I'm not bringing anything the Democrats want to the floor of the Senate until this filibuster is broken. He should have played hardball. He didn't. And so the Democrats went into that knowing that they were going to have to convince 7 Republicans to join, even if Murkowski and Collins and McConnell and Tillis all voted for it. They're still 7 votes short.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we knew it was in trouble from the start, but it wasn't a very popular thing to say. I took some heat for it. Um, the other problem with the SAVE Act is it doesn't address voting machines. I wonder what Tina Peters would think about that if she was asked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I got somebody I think that wants to jump on real quick and say
Sure,
hello.
sure,
Yeah, first
sure.
of all, John Goodman. It's Joe the Box.
What a surprise.
It's
I
Joe the
love it.
Box.
Hey,
Here I
hey,
am. You
there he
found me.
is.
You found me. We're not going to do a commercial, James. We're going to go right through to the end of the show because
Okay.
I think what John Goodman is bringing to the table is so important. And John, I do know the direction you are with the executive order. We're having a difficult time getting the message out, but I noticed recently that there is a lot of I see a lot more of the election integrity results, like the New Jersey 6,600 illegals that are in there. I know that they're going to be tearing up Michigan and stuff. So he is aware of all of these things. Trump is, and I mean, he talked about it in his speech. But again, if the SAVE Act does not pass, which I don't believe that it will. I don't think they got the nerve to bring it in there. But we need to know the senators and the people that don't want this, because we know what part of the where they stand, these communists, that they are. I'm trying to focus on a question, John, and you're in a disco room in there, and your eyes are blinking, and I'm losing my traction over here. But
Here, here.
I love what you're doing,
I'm out
John.
of the disco room. I'm out of the disco room.
Oh, there you go. Is this the only option that we have? Is this the nuclear option?
Well, this is the only option because, again, the SAVE Act, if it did pass, Joe, the box, it would immediately be challenged. It would not be adjudicated in 97 days. Any executive order that President Trump would release at this point would not be adjudicated in 97 days. But this is where it gets good, is that the whole advantage to the national security emergency is that in 1983, the Supreme Court ruled the only way to overturn a presidential national security emergency is both the House and the Senate must achieve 2/3 majority vote within 6 months of the declaration of the emergency. And the Democrats don't have close to 2/3 in both houses, not even close. So this is a no-brainer. This is an unobstructed pathway, Joe the Box, for President Trump to not only secure the midterms, but implement the election security measures straight out of the SAVE Act in that national security emergency.
That's awesome.
It's the perfect fit.
There's two things I have to say about that. One is,
Yeah,
and,
I
and
like
number two is, I'm sure that they know what we're planning. I'm sure that they know or figuring some kind of way to give us an October surprise or something like that to stop it, John.
it. Okay. Well, the bottom line is, as you know from my first appearance, the initial national security idea, Wayne Allen Root came to me with this idea. We discussed that on your morning show. So, and by the way, the
Thank
America
you.
First Network was one of the first people that ever knew that there was, actually, I think it was the first network that knew that there was working on a national security emergency. So I'm glad that I'm back on your network now, Joe. And what happened was I worked with Wayne to make sure that it was legal, could be done with no obstruction. And what I did was I found that 1983 Supreme Court ruling after combing through the archives in Miami-Dade County Library for several months. And when I found it, I knew that we had a way. So I let Wayne know, he let President Trump know, we let Peter Tickton know, we let Jerome Corsi know. And since then, John Gordon and Patrick Byrne and other people, Steve Bannon, they're all now messaging this is the only thing left. So, it started out basically with Wayne Allen Root, myself, and Steve Stern.
Steve Stern, my
Yeah,
brother from down
Yes,
there in
Steve
Florida,
Stern put
South
me in
Florida.
touch with Wayne Allen Root to begin with. And, you know, that was in early April. And it was very unpopular to say anything negative about the SAVE Act. And to a certain extent, it still is now.
Right. But they're embarrassing, James. Aren't they
Yeah,
embarrassing to you?
yeah. They're absolutely. It's disgusting. Like you're not. You can't even call yourself a patriot, an American. They just blindly turn their back on everybody, and you know, I don't get it. I really don't.
He calls them dummycrats, and I kind of think they are dummycrats. And I'm really excited about this, John Goodman. Now, election integrity, you had originally, when you first came on the scene, you had found something in the Declaration of Independence that nobody saw.
That's
Is
right.
that true? Do you
Yeah,
James?
Yep.
yeah, I did. And it was actually, it's actually in the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, but it, you know, the Constitution from the original. I mean, the prints like this. I was reading the original again on microfilm, on like a faded black parchment paper. It's tough to read, but anyway, the states say that they control everything to do with elections, right? And they say that because in Article 4, Section 1, it does say states control time, place, and manner of elections. That's a quote. Time, place, and manner.
Yep.
Well, number one, what does manner mean? Well, another Supreme Court in 1995 ruled that manner means procedural, such as dates of election day. I'm sorry, dates of early voting, hours of the voting station, um, procedural,
Yeah.
but it said that the states cannot do anything that degrades the integrity of the election, favors or disfavors a certain class of candidates. That also is in the possession of the Trump team. So the bottom line is, to put it in layman's terms, the states do control the elections until they abuse it, and then they don't control it anymore. That was the ruling in 1995.
I do think that the states control, James. I don't know really the rules on, but they can't control a federal election.
No.
No, and the other thing that they did that they couldn't control is absentee ballot. Remember absentee ballot used as recently as 2018, where the only people that could vote through the mail were overseas
Military.
military,
Yep.
travel, disabled, elderly. That was it.
Yeah.
Everyone else had to do either early voting or, you know, live voting.
Then COVID came along
And
and changed all
right,
that.
it did. COVID changed it, but here's the key. COVID changed it to where in 2020, most everyone voted by mail. Why didn't Joe Biden switch it back to absentee ballot, which we've used since the start of the Revolutionary War in 1775?
Because they
Why
needed
didn't he
that
switch it
fraud.
back?
They needed that fraud to push forward.
They, well, that's exactly right, because if he had gone back to absentee ballot,
You lost a lot of
tens of
voters.
millions, tens of millions of illegal aliens would not be able to vote.
Yep.
So he just left it wide open. Only 13 states actually went back to absentee ballot, where you have to show that, you know, proof that, you know, you are in a nursing home and that you do have a prosthetic leg and can't go to the voting station. 13 states after COVID did go back, but 37 states, it's wide open, and it still is wide open, and it will be wide open again in November if
Yeah.
the national security emergency is not declared by the president. But I'm looking at Steve Bannon on his war room and an interview he just gave. We've got some pictures I know we can show too. Your colleague and friend Bannon, Joe, he just gave a very rare sit down interview to a journalist who's well known, an international journalist from Australia. And the title of the story is President Trump will declare a national security emergency on elections.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Pull up that image. We have an image we could pull up for that.
yeah, the one with Bannon. Yeah. And this was just from Friday. So this is not some old clip. The one with says Bannon right there on the picture.
Yeah.
You know, Bannon is on the front
Well-
line. There's no doubt about it.
Well, okay, and then there's also one with Peter Tickton. Picture I sent you with Peter Tickton.
Yeah, that
he
one
did with
says,
Newsweek.
"Who is Peter?" I think it says.
Peter is President Trump's personal attorney and part of his election team.
You guys got that upstairs to put it on the screen?
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I sent them all in to your text, James.
Yeah.
So
It's all right. I'm not going to
yeah, well,
fire
that's okay.
anybody
But
today.
anyway, it's okay. The bottom line is, we've got a lot of people on board, and President Trump is now realizing that time is running out on the SAVE Act because he's in a tough spot. He supports the SAVE Act. I'm not going to put words in our president's mouth. President Trump supports the SAVE Act. But if he doesn't take action and the Democrats are able to steal another election, we will have actual communists running Capitol Hill.
Yep. Yep, and that'll be over for America because they're
It's
not
really
ever
over.
gonna give up their control. And they have their surveillance, they have their AI technologies, they have their drones in place, the street cameras and the flock cameras. Dude, we do not want to give this type of power back to the Democrats.
I never realized the transparency when Trump talked about it, that he was actually bringing it. And, you know, maybe it's not the level of complete open eyes, open your eyes and stuff, but he's really making things come out. And when you talked about Steve Bannon just a couple minutes ago, Steve Bannon has this reporter with him, Natalie Winters. And Natalie Winters came out with a list of all of the left-wing media hacks from New York Times and from all of these left-wing hacks that are getting paid big stipend from the Chinese government. I mean, that's information enough for me to declare it a national emergency. And she named names.
That's right. I did hear about that. I don't know the names, but I did hear about that. And you're absolutely right, Joe the Box. Someone explained to me why a Republican or a Democrat would object to voter ID and having to be a citizen to vote, especially when you know in the Constitution it's very clear. Article 15 says American citizens must be afforded the right to vote, but it doesn't give the green light to illegals to vote. So,
Yep.
you know, it's like, I'll give an example very quickly. If you're a student in college and your professor says, I've got a new policy to clamp down on cheating. I think there's a lot of cheating in this class. And out of the 30 students, 4 of them start screaming and yelling and throwing desks. Those are the 4 that are cheating.
Yep.
Otherwise, why would you be getting upset that the professor is tightening up the regulations on cheating? If you don't cheat, you should
Exactly.
be happy. That's what
You
I'm
just
saying.
tell the professor you're a Democrat, socialist, communist, and he'll pass you.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. So that's my analogy. I think that explains it pretty clear. There's no reason why any elected politician would be against proving that you're an American citizen and showing ID unless you support rigging and cheating in elections. There is no other reason.
Yeah, because they know at the end of the day, the American people really don't support them, and they need all the outside influence help they can get in order for them to keep their seats. And the American people are done with this crap, and we want to see real change. We want real Americans to hold these seats, and the best interest of our country being put first.
John, so
I
the
agree with you, James.
the SAVE Act is in the hands of the Senate right now?
Yeah, it just passed the House, right?
You know what? I don't think it's in the hands of anyone right now. To be
It's in
the bottom
limbo.
line is, as you know, Mike Lee, I don't know if this is new, Mike Lee pleaded with all 53 Senate Republicans to stay and not go on recess so they could try to figure something out with the SAVE Act. And out of 53 Republican senators, this is how many said they would stay and not go on recess.
Oh my God.
What's that?
Five.
Five. So even Trump supporters, it's not just rhinos, even Trump MAGA, real MAGA, they know the SAVE Act is not going anywhere. And as I said, Mark Elias is standing right outside the steps of the Ninth Circuit. If it ever passed on a miracle, there'd be an appeal the next day. And 97 days, there's no way it would be adjudicated, not to mention implementation
Yeah.
and enforcement. It's dead. And I know that's not popular to say, but I'm thinking of the country, not my followers dropping me on social media.
Yeah. You got to give the raw truth sometimes, and it hurts, but you got to hear it.
And I think your fans are hearing for the first time that President Trump had that executive order last year that was very comprehensive. It was the supernova of the SAVE Act. And he never released it. So now we're up against the clock. But the national security emergency takes effect the moment he signs it. And the word is it'll be around the end of August, which will still leave him several months to implement it and to enforce it. And remember, this isn't an EO. There's a big difference between an EO that's challengeable and a national security emergency that can only be overturned with 2/3 majority in both chambers. So the states that don't want to cooperate are going to be much more compelled to cooperate here. And I think you will see our DOJ for the first time. It sounds strong, but our DOJ hasn't exactly been holding many people accountable.
No.
Right, I heard they got their balls cut off.
Yeah. Something like that. Or was it their tonsils?
You know,
You
we
will see the DOJ in a much hawkish form after he signs the national security emergency, because who is the biggest loser if the Democrats are able to steal another election? The country, of course, but Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
He will be impeached. He will be in more phony trials. They will try to get enough votes to throw him and JD out of office. Donald Trump is not going to allow this election to be stolen. I can tell you, your fans, with all the confidence in the world, Donald Trump will not be derailed and let the 2020 midterms be stolen. I'm on record and I'm doubling down. He will not allow it.
You're on
Hell
record,
yeah.
all right, John Goodman.
You
I didn't
betcha.
mean to hijack James Justice's
No, it's
show.
all right, man. You're always
but we
welcome.
still got 4.5 minutes left. I believe that Trump is playing big-time chess. And James, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the Correspondents' Dinner, the hour-and-a-half speech. Do you think he was trolling? Do you think he was setting up? Do you think he was preparing? Or how do you think he handled that night?
So I didn't watch the whole speech in its entirety. I caught a couple clips of it, but I know that when Trump gets in front of the powerful swamp, the oh so powerful swamp in D.C., that he always puts a couple people over his leg and spanks asses because he has no tolerance for any of these clowns out there, and for all the heat that this guy takes all year round with all these made-up stories and fabrications and just complete utter nonsense that these low IQ idiots they take in and feel powerful, regurgitating it out to their people. It's always good to see him come in the room and be the complete lion that he always is when he walks in.
John, did you see it that night?
I did, and I'm glad you brought that up. Look, we talked about who yells and screams in a classroom when they tighten up cheating. The cheaters. CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MS, whatever they are now, what then. Nobody covered it. They censored the president of the United States in a primetime address because it leaked that he was showing real, undeniable, conclusive proof of a 2020 fraudulent election, which he did. And you can look at the documents right now at whitehouse.gov.
Yep.
So, what did the Democrats do? They said, we can't let our constituents see that it really was a stolen election. It's unheard of. They blacked out and did not televise a primetime presidential address.
Yeah.
Is that a disgrace? Does that tell you? That's like in poker. That's the tell.
Yep.
You knew right then, oh, we can't let our Democrats see this proof. So they just blacked him out.
They should all have their
How
licenses stripped. Every single company that blacked them out should have their licenses stripped. They should no longer be able to participate in American journalism. They can kick rocks and go work for a plumbing company or something.
Pretty sad, but I think that Trump made him listen to himself for about 2 hours. I think it was one of the longer speeches. I couldn't wait. We went through the awards that they got, and they give this award to Dylan McDermott looking girl there from CNN. He destroyed her. But he said I sat here, you don't deserve these awards. These awards, you didn't even tell the truth. His words were so good. And I seen him. You saw half the crowd. They were like so upset. But most of them were like, this guy is great.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got one more thing for you.
Go ahead, Johnny. We got a minute and 10.
Ends. Okay. Donald Trump, for the first time, dropped a hint in Marietta, Georgia, this past Thursday, that he was running out of patience with the Senate and the SAVE Act, and that he was going to end up taking shit on his own. And I'm going to play you. I sent the clip, but I'm going to play you the audio, and I want you to listen to this.
Hey, guys, do we have
closely.
the clip? Do we have the Trump clip?
Can
This
we hook
is,
him up with a Trump clip
John
or something for John Goodman?
31 seconds.
We can go
31
over for a
seconds.
couple seconds if we have to.
Yep. We have it. I think we have it. Do we
I
have
sent
it?
it to James text. It's 31.
He's got it.
Listen to this now. Listen close, everyone.
They passed it 3 times. They're going to pass it again. It's like the Senate is a place that you send things when you want them to die. We can't do this. We're not going to take this any longer. We're not going to take it. You know, I'm trying to be nice, trying to be really nice. You saw we had a big victory last night in Arizona. I've had victories everywhere. But we're not going to be able to take it much longer.
Yeah.
And that tells you right there, he's not going to be able to take it much longer. He's not going to be able to wait on the SAVE Act shenanigans. He's going to have to enact the national security emergency.
Exactly.
And everyone that knows what's going on said that's exactly what he was meaning.
God bless you, John Goodman. You broke the news here first at the America First Media and Television. We are honored to have you, the biggest story breaker, right next to you, James.
That's it,
Great
man.
job. Sign us out.
Well, John, once again, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you. To everybody out there, make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Shout out to Joe the Box for coming on the show. We love you guys. I will see you on the next one.